Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to our Honor Student Ambassador panel. I have our current students. So those of you who are not current students, I'm actually going to just have, I'm going to turn off your video and your sound for right now, just so that we can sort of maintain a little bit of order in the chaos. But what I'm going to have each of our student ambassadors do is actually go around and introduce themselves. And those of you who are current students, if you would actually just introduce yourself in the group chat so we have a sense of who all's here. So just tell us your name, maybe where you're coming from, and if you have a potential major, what that might be. And then let's go ahead and start. Brianna, if you want to introduce yourself first.
Hi, I am Briana. I am a sophomore at the college, majoring in psychology and minoring in Spanish. And as far as what I'm involved in on campus, I do some ambassador work, and then I just involved in various clubs, if you have any questions about that. And then I also work full-time, and I'm here streaming here from Charleston.
Awesome, thanks. Jessica, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Jessie. I'm currently in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. I'm a sophomore, majoring in political science and international studies. I'm involved in the International Scholars Program through the Honors College. I'm in Greek life. I'm part of the Political Science Club. What else? I'm an Aiken Fellow, and I'm also involved in the Honors Ambassador Program.
Abby?
Hi, I'm Abby. I am streaming live from Charleston. I'm a senior graduating in May. I am also an Aiken Fellow, also an international scholar. I'm an honors ambassador. I've been a Cougar ambassador for a few years, where you're paired with an international student buddy. I am an executive on the Rotaract Club. Well, I'm the president of the Rotaract Club at College of Charleston, and that's like a community service organization. Do a lot of community service, a lot of scholar citizen initiatives, things like that. So pretty involved. Yeah.
Awesome. Chloe?
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I'm a sophomore. I'm majoring in math and international studies. And some things I'm involved in. I'm also an Aiken Fellow and an international scholar. I'm in the math club. I'm a student ambassador, and then I work in the CSL as a math tutor.
Awesome.
I forgot to say my majors.
Oh, you forgot to say your majors. Yeah, say those.
International studies and communication. Sorry.
Okay. You said so many other things. I thought
I did say a lot of other things.
All covered. That's what happens when you're a senior. Awesome. Michaela, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Michaela Suggs. I'm from Florence, South Carolina. I am a junior at the college, and I'm majoring in special education with a minor in music. I'm also involved with a lot of things. I am currently on executive council for our Panhellenic sororities on campus. I'm a South Carolina teaching fellow, which is just like an elite program for students who want to be teachers who are born and raised in South Carolina. I am an honor student ambassador. I am also a peer facilitator for the Honors College, which means I work with our incoming freshmen, so potentially you guys, to let y'all know a little bit about campus and teach you the ways of the Honors College. I currently have a part-time job at a restaurant in Charleston. I've done various tutoring around schools in Charleston, and probably do a bunch of other stuff that I'm just forgetting now, but yeah.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Lucas.
Hey guys, I'm Lucas Moyen. I'm from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and I'm majoring in economics, physics, and astronomy. Some things that I'm involved in on campus is I just founded a club called Cougar Votes that's about voter registration stuff. I'm a senator on student government. I'm in deliberative democracy, which is a program for Honors College freshmen. I'm an Aiken Fellow. I do Model United Nations, and I'm in Phi Chi Theta, which is a business fraternity. And one really cool thing I've done this year that was off campus that I got through College of Charleston was an internship with CBS News. They had the Democratic debate in Charleston a couple weeks ago, so I got to work for that for 10 days, and I just got my paycheck, so that's been really fun.
Very nice. Rumor is that you were a stand-in for some of the presidential candidates. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm 6 feet, which is the same height as Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. So I spent many hours standing up on the stage in their place so that the camera crews could get all their cameras ready and the lighting ready. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
And Chris, Bailey, and I are both here on the call. We can answer any sort of specific admissions related questions, and we're both alums as well. So a little bit further removed from the Honors College and College of Charleston, but we're mostly here just to moderate in case you all have any questions.
Cool.
You unmuted yourself, Chris. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Nope, that's it for now.
Awesome. Okay, well, you have now heard an introduction from each of our wonderful student panelists. We want to turn this over to you all. So you all get a chance to ask whatever questions you have. Like I said, we're going to keep the video off for all of our admitted students, just so we have a clear idea of who all is talking. But for those of you who are admitted students, we welcome your questions. You can either ask them in the chat box, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask them, you can also do that. So, do I have anyone who wants to be brave and ask the first question?
It's really exciting to see that, Julia, you're from 6 Mile, because I know someone else from 6 Mile, and I feel like that is the only time in my life I will ever meet a second person from 6 Mile. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. We get a lot of people. No, that's 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite part of the college? What's your favorite part of the college to go study? Okay, so are you guys fine with me taking that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I have like a lot of spots. So if you're like me, I'm kind of bad at studying in my room. Like I have a desk, but it's really just cluttered with stuff. And then I just see my bed and I want to get in it. So the library is really cool, and the aspect of the first floor is where you guys can do like your communications. You know, that's like group projects and everything. And so of course that's like not loud, but like the ladder of the floors. And then the second and third floor are silent. So that's really cool in the fact that you can just go in there, headphones, there's no disturbances whatsoever. And then there's also study rooms that you can rent. So you can do that if you want to do group projects. So it's a little bit of privacy. But as far as like one-on-one or just solo studying, there's a bunch of places, just the Cistern. A lot of times if I have books or anything, I'll take them out there if I need to read them for class, just get out of my element. It helps me focus a little bit more. And then also over there by Campus Center Apartments at Sterling is like a cute little grassy patch across from CVS. So I would take a towel out there and like lay there. And I get Wi-Fi over there, so I can get on my laptop as well. So those are really cool places that I like to go study.
Brianna mentioned rent. They're free for anyone who might have heard that and wonder. You can like rent out a study room. But
yeah.
And also the Honors Center has been my favorite place for the past 4 years. There's an outdoor porch when it's pretty outside, which is like, I don't know, 10 out of 12 months in the year. You can just go sit out there. And then there's also computers and free printing and there's some tables and a large screen inside as well. And that's exclusive to honor students. So it's a great resource.
Do honors college students feel like they have their own community and advantages?
So probably, I say yes. I say we're our own. Obviously we're included in everything CofC does, and we try to include CofC in a lot of things we do. But I feel like we're our own little family, and it's super, super great because we are so selective with our students that we put in our program. Our class sizes are a lot smaller than traditional classes at CofC. So it's really, really nice to see the same people in every single class and really make community with your cohort. And also I was talking about that I'm a peer facilitator. That freshman year FYE, which is the first year volunteer experience course will really set you up with some friends that'll help you throughout your freshman year. So yeah, I mean, I think that we have our cute own little family community. And my favorite part about the Honors College, my favorite advantage, is I've gotten a lot of internships and job opportunities just by being in the Honors College. You'll find that a lot of professors will send out emails and be like, hey, I need someone to come babysit my kid or tutor someone else or come work at my law firm. And I prefer it to be an honors student from the college. And so we'll be first dibs for jobs and internships and stuff like that.
And I think one thing that's really cool about being an honors student is I guess I'm finishing out my freshman year, and I thought it was really fun to live in Barry, on the honors floor with like all other honors kids. Like all of my best friends live like one door down, two doors down in the same suite as me. So it's been really fun, just being in that like really close place with everyone else. And also when you have like honors roommates and honors suite mates and honors kids all around the hallway, like you're really likely to be like everyone in the hall. It's just really a great way to make friends with everyone who's living in Barry. But I saw a question, I think, that asked if you're required to, or if you're required to live with other honor students, and you don't. Like, you can do whatever you want, I think, pretty much, but I would highly recommend living in Barry and living, like, on the honors floor. I think it's super fun, and I've loved my roommate. Like, we're living together next year, so it's a really cool experience to be in Barry.
And one thing for the exclusive advantages, so one thing that I've talked to everyone about is just in the honors college, there's just such great advisors. So of course with the regular college, you get your advisor for each topic, but they have a lot of people. So in the honors college, it's a lot more personalized, where you're required every time you register for classes to come in for a meeting. And so I've grown so close with my advisor. She knows my schedule in and out. Plus you just get priority registration, and I think that it's just a lot more focused on you personally in the honors college, and that's just like one of the best benefits that I've gained from it.
It looks like there are several other questions about residence life. So I know Lucas had lots of great things to say about living in Barry, but what about some of the rest of you? Did you all live in Barry? What were your experiences? How did you find your roommate? If you would talk to some of those things.
So I actually went in knowing the person that I shared the actual bedroom with. So we picked each other beforehand because we knew each other from high school, but the other two were completely random, and we became best friends with them. I'm living with one of them this year, and I'm so close with the other one. So I have kind of both experiences of knowing one of my roommates beforehand and also getting random. And I think that both situations have their positives and negatives, so I wouldn't say that one is better than the other.
And as far as like knowing someone going in, you could either know someone from high school and live with them, or like in the admitted students group chats or Facebook pages and things like that. That is a really good way to meet someone that you're not like best friends with, and your friendship is riding on living together well, but that you also know that you have things in common, and that you would cohabitate well. I think I had a hard experience moving in with someone that I was already very close with, but I enjoyed the experience with people that I didn't know beforehand. So it really, like, it's good to kind of know what you're getting yourself into, but to just have less expectations than you might beforehand. I don't know if that makes any sense.
And
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that I went completely random my first year. I lived in Barry last year. I went random. I filled out, the housing sends out like a little survey that you fill out in the goals of trying to match you with other people if you choose to go random. I didn't think the survey would be able to match me very well with someone else, but I met one of my best friends through that. I think they did a really good job. I went random, and I would recommend it if you don't want to pick someone from the Facebook page or if you don't know anyone. So I wouldn't be afraid of going random.
Yeah, and oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No, go. I was going to bring
even beyond roommates. So I went random, and I loved it, and I loved my suite mates, and so that was great. But one other great aspect about Barry is you do form your own little community in there. So I would get emails all of the time from either RAs or just kids on the floor of like, hey everyone, like we're cooking this like family meal in the common room in the kitchen. And so I know one cool guy, he like made barbecue a couple of times. He would just send an email and he was like, bring a plate, bring a bowl, like come get some. Or they would do like a lot of group activities, which isn't very like honor specific, like, but it was mainly like on just those specific floors, which on mine it was honors. Of course, anyone in Barry was welcome to join, but it was just like a great atmosphere that like you knew these people from your classes most likely because, you know, like someone said, it's like small classes, you're very familiar with these people, but also just like you get that family atmosphere in the sense of like sharing, like cooking things, you know, you're doing all these things together.
And part of that I think is the Honors Student Association, which my freshman year, that was a big part of why I enjoyed living in Barry, because in the classroom downstairs, it's a classroom but also a community space, and so there would be like fluffernutter sandwich nights, and we would go and make these sandwiches that are like marshmallow cream and peanut butter, or like pumpkin carving activities and just like festive things, and you get to see both your friends who you know from the Honors College, but also other people that live on a different wing in Barry, and you might not have classes with them, but they're also part of your community, and so that's fun. And a lot of times like the Honors College faculty or staff would be there too, and that's been a really fun part. And then what I was going to respond to earlier was Emma, who asked about living with other Aiken Fellows, and I for some reason ended up living with 3 other Aiken Fellows, but I think that was rare and accidental maybe, but I haven't regretted not living with Aiken Fellows, but it's also been sweet to build relationships with other Aiken Fellows however you can. But.
So now it looks like we're having a lot of questions about classes. So would you all talk a little bit about how classes are different for honors students, whether it's just honors students or a mix? Are there honors specific versions of core classes? And then maybe if you have a favorite honors class.
So there are, for many of our core classes that we have to take to graduate, there are honors alternatives. Like geology, we have an honors class, chemistry, biology, astronomy. So like all the basic sciences, we have honors classes. I know we have an honors psych class. We have honors math classes. We do have an honors writing class that you have to take when you're admitted as a freshman. So yes, for most classes, like the gen ed classes, there are honors alternatives, but once you get into your major classes, there really isn't any wiggle room. You pretty much have to take like the class with like mixes of students. For the honors classes, most of those are honors exclusive, but if there is very, very, very low, what's the word? When you sign up for a class? Not attendance.
Enrollment.
Enrollment. There we go. Yep, there we go. When there's low enrollment for a course, then we do allow the rest of CFC to come join the class, but that's only if it's low enrollment because we want to prioritize our honors students. So it's a mix of classes. I mean, you don't have to take the honors classes. Obviously, we recommend it. I had a great time taking my honors geology class. I really loved it. But you definitely don't have to take the honors class if you don't want to. For workload, I really wouldn't say there's a whole lot of extra work. It's pretty much the same. We just go further in the material. From my opinion, that's kind of how I saw it. We do have a little bit more projects, like in the community kind of projects. Like for my geology class, we went to Folly Beach for something. We went out in the community and measured stuff. It's a lot more dynamic in that aspect for me. So that's probably the best way that I would explain it. As my favorite class, so we have to take, I don't know what that looks like in the new curriculum, and I should, but I don't. But we have to take interdisciplinary courses, and my favorite interdisciplinary course was called Engaging the Mind Body, and it's about how your mind can influence your body, but your body can also influence your mind. And it was with Dr. Meg Scott CofC's, and I loved it so much that I'm actually writing my bachelor's essay about it now. And it was so fun, and there was 10 of us in that class, and we were like a little family, and it was so great, and it's the best class ever. So that's definitely my favorite one.
I did just want to clarify one thing. So you said that you don't have to take the honors courses, and like of course that you don't want to, like of course you get the choice between all the honors courses. It's very comprehensive as far as topics and everything. You do have to take 25 credits, I believe, in the honors college. And so they're like specific things. So they start you off with a literacy course. So that's just in your freshman year, and then you have other courses. So it's like the honors college sets up certain requirements that you knock out those pretty easily. And then after you get those requirements, you have a bunch of other courses that you can take. So for example, I'm taking psychology of social change right now. So that's so we cover just topics that really need to be talked about in the world. So just like climate change and how people treat each other, and just how to how we can productively institute change in our society and our world. And so like Michaela was saying, I wouldn't say it's harder. It's one thing that the college really wants to express is that it's not harder, it's different. So like Michaela said, you go further into the material. In my experience, a lot of the classes are much more discussion based instead of lecture. And so it's really cool. Like for my class that I'm taking right now, we do the reading beforehand, and then we come in and we kind of get really into depth about it. We get each other's opinions on it. We can write papers. It's just a lot of going back and forth to really strengthen these ideas and go further in our education.
And Jenna just asked what honors classes are like when you're an upperclassman. So as Brianna just said, there are like certain curriculum classes that you are required to take that would kind of take the place of like a normal college student's class. But there are these classes, at least in my curriculum. I know the curriculum has changed since I was a freshman, but they were called interdisciplinary classes. And so it just is a combination of I took one that was art humanities. So it was a combination of art and history and politics and like different disciplines that I wouldn't normally have taken all together. And I took that my junior year. I also took another one junior year called Becoming American. And then as you go into your senior year, your honors class is essentially your bachelor's essay, which is like a senior thesis, and it fulfills a requirement from the college to every senior who has to take either a capstone course or complete a bachelor's essay. And so every student in the honors college will complete a bachelor's essay, which is an independent research project paper. And that's kind of your, like the culmination of your honors experience as an upperclassman. And you work directly with an advisor and receive a lot of help in your research for that. So
just to clarify, a couple of you have mentioned you're not sure what the new curriculum looks
Sorry.
like. No, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. So we did just make a few changes to our curriculum in the past couple of years just to make it a little bit more flexible for students. And so we do still offer lots of interdisciplinary courses, and a lot of those are happening when you are an upperclassman. They're just under a different category. So we call them Exploring Diversity and Colloquia, or Exploring Complexity and Diversity Colloquia series. And so it is still a great option for you to take lots of interdisciplinary coursework and then do things like your honors immersed and bachelor's essay experience.
Yeah,
along with the new curriculum.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, along with the new curriculum, we also introduced the sort of advanced studies category of courses. And this sort of goes along with the question about upperclassmen, what kind of honors courses they're taking. So in addition to the honors immersed and then the honors bachelor's essay experience, there's also a lot of now advanced studies topics that might be within your major, or at least an area of interest that you have, and are higher level classes that are taught within the honors college. And that's really expanded the number of options that students have to, as a junior or senior, take more sort of subject specific majors within honors.
So as someone who has, I have like grown up in the old curriculum, but also seen the new curriculum and taught it to my students. I think the new curriculum is really, really working well for the honors college. I feel like our students are thriving a lot better in the new curriculum. I'm having a lot less worries and questions about the newer curriculum. So I wouldn't worry about it. You have a lot of classes to choose from, a lot of flexible hours. You do have to have a certain amount, but there's no doubt in my mind that you'll find classes that you'll enjoy.
So another question there's lots of questions, so I'm going to get to them all, I promise. But one that has come up is about if any of you went into CofC undecided and how you went about choosing a major. And I'd also love if you could talk a little bit about how it's sort of the Honors College fits in with whatever major you are part of.
So I can't talk. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lucas.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't really go in undecided. Like, I kind of knew that I wanted to study maybe econ, maybe politics, but I also like really had a thing for space and astronomy and stuff. But I was kind of undecided going in because I didn't know like how to do more than one major. I didn't know if that was going to fit with the honors college and all that. So I was actually like really stressed out about it. But what you'll find is that like, first of all, just being in the honors college, like you're going to have access with your advisor, whoever that is. Like you can express those concerns to them and they'll set you up with whoever you want. So like if you think you're interested in something, they'll set you up and like you can have a meeting with some professors. You can start taking classes in that major, or not, maybe not in that major, but you can start taking classes in your freshman and sophomore year to figure out if you like the topic at all. So that's basically what I did, and it's taken me a long time to like refine down what I've wanted to do in my majors. But a lot of people that I know in honors are double majoring, and it's really not too difficult. I mean, it's not that bad. So as long as you can like talk to your advisor and talk to other people and talk to professors, like you'll definitely be able to figure out what you want to do. And there's a lot of people I know that came in undecided. Like you're not going to be alone if you're undecided.
So I am also in the same boat as Lucas. I didn't come in undecided. I was very, very positive that I was going to come in and I was going to be a teacher and I was going to be an education major. I have been a little flexible with my minors. I was going to minor in a few things, but at the end of the day, I decided just to go with music because it was something I was really passionate about. Elizabeth asked us to talk about how the Honors College plays into that. So as most of you know, education is kind of like artsy and humanities kind of major. So it's really, some people find it very hard to see how the Honors College can play into that education major. But honestly, I've loved every second of it. And the Honors College has given me so many opportunities related to education. It's just been really interesting to see things from both perspectives. I don't even remember where I was going with this, but it's been super helpful. So like if you think that your major cannot be incorporated into the Honors College, I promise you it can, and I promise you there's someone out there that has the same exact major as you do, and it really, really works out better than you think it will. Also, Angie, I know you and someone else asked about how we balance the Honors College and a lot of other things. I am approximately in 3,500 clubs on campus. So I am pretty busy pretty much all the time. And especially my executive board position, it takes up a lot of time. But I'm still able to balance everything. I'm still loving my life, not hating myself, have some time for free time. So you definitely can balance it, but it's definitely about prioritizing and time management. You have to figure out what you actually want to do and not what you're doing just to like, put it on your resume. That's probably the biggest tip that I would give you.
And also, so I know a lot of people said that they came in, or Lucas and Michaela, you said that you came in with pretty good ideas. So I just want to let you know that so many people come in undecided. But I came in with a pretty good idea. I wanted math. Like I was wholeheartedly, I'm going to be a math professor. That's all I want to do. I want to go get my doctorate. And that was it. And then about halfway through my first semester, sophomore year, I kind of started realizing that maybe math wasn't so good for me, that I was kind of losing my passion for it, and I was maybe a little bit more into psychology. And so I just went to my honors advisor and I spoke with her about it, and she kind of gave me some guidelines on what I should think of before I fully switch my major and how to go about switching it, and even like what classes to take to maybe get a better idea. And so she really helped me make that decision. But yeah, of course, like what some people come in undecided, some people come in with ideas, but you don't have to stick with what you have. Like it's going to change, you're going to change. And just through like taking humanities courses and everything like that, you're going to get a broader range at the College of Charleston of interest. And so if you come in undecided, don't feel bad.
And one last thing with that is like, I also came in kind of knowing what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to be an international studies and political science double major. International studies was solidified because I'm an international scholar, so I wasn't going to change that. But with political science, I literally went to a political science club meeting And that night, I think, changed my major because I was like, I don't know enough. I don't care enough. Like, I can't do this. But I think like a lot of the classes that I took, knowing that or thinking that I was going to be a political science or international studies major, like those classes then helped me along. Like, they weren't wasted classes. So if you're taking classes and you decide you don't want to do that major, like they still will probably fulfill some credit somewhere. You just kind of have to be smart about it. But then the major that I ended up choosing was communication, and political science didn't count for that. So some majors specifically will only take communication courses, but political science counted for international studies or for just general requirements. So I think there are just a lot of ways you can play with it, and you don't have to be afraid that it's going to put you behind. And yeah, again, talking to your advisors about everything makes it helpful, and just being honest with yourself about why you thought you wanted to be a certain major, and if that major is the only thing that could get you to the career that you want or the future that you want for yourself.
Pivot a little here, because I saw there was a question a while back about the ELLC that we kind of skipped over it a little bit. I don't know if any of the other panelists were. I'm not technically in the ELLC, but like literally everyone in the ELLC is like all my best friends, and I spend all my time with them. So while I don't have a ton of experience like myself with those classes, I want to say that like everyone in there has really, really enjoyed it. And while honors is definitely like a great community, because the ELLC like lives together and they take a lot of their classes together, they're definitely like a super, super tight community. I would like totally recommend that. I wish a little bit that I had done it myself, because I'm actually like best friends with all of them. I mean, I used to hang out in their rooms all the time before school got canceled. But I would say that everyone I know in there has had a really, really good experience. A lot of them are like sort of like business type majors, but also like one of my best friends in there is doing exercise science, and there's another one doing biology. So like you do not have to really be into business. There's a lot of different people in there. And it's just like really, really cool. It's a really, really tight-knit community, like nothing I've ever experienced before. It's really cool.
Professor Afonso, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's amazing. I love that man. Yeah. He basically lives in Barry. I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we actually, just to add on about the ELLC, in the next week or so, we are going to send an email out to all admitted honors students. So you all should be included, so check your email about the opportunity to learn more about the ELLC, because we actually normally use our honors experience events as the first sort of major for the ELLC. So since that's not happening, we're going to contact everyone via email. And actually, we're planning to host something similar to this, a panel like this, with all current or actually alums from the ELLC who will answer questions that you might have. So definitely for all the admitted students on there who might be like either interested in ELLC or have no idea what that is, be on the lookout in the next week or so for an email. It'll come from the honors@cofc.edu email address, but it'll actually be from a student who participated in the ELLC last year. So she's currently a sophomore. So just be on the lookout for that.
And I just real quick, there was something, a question from Max about how did you find internships? So one thing that I've really thought was very helpful in the Honors College is one of the required classes to take within the Honors College is, I don't know if it's still called this, but Beyond George Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the first year experience course. Yeah.
Yes. So you take that, and part of it is just really showing you about all the really cool opportunities you have within the Honors College. So they connect you to all types of things like study abroad, stuff like that. And then one of the things that they do is internships and research and with your requirements later on. So I know for me, I was required to go and actually personally speak with a professor in my major, see how research is, see what internships are like. They also introduce you. I was required to create a LinkedIn page. They introduce you to a lot of cool things like Handshake I don't know, it's just like a page for internships. And I was trying to do like a handshake. And then also, so the CofC Honors Hub is a great source. That's actually how I found out about being a CofC ambassador. Is every Sunday, I think at midnight, they send you an email with all these cool opportunities on campus. So it's just things that you want to hear about otherwise, and thank you, Chris, for including it. So the link's in the chat. And so you can go on there, Editing Point, and just kind of look on there, see what's available. And so it's kind of like a one-stop shop for a lot of opportunities near you. And that's helped me so much. And also, Jessica, there was a question about international scholars earlier. Did you see that from
Yeah,
Jen?
I think I sent a chat, but.
Okay, so we still have about 10 minutes. So there's a couple more questions that are a little bit broader that I'd love for us to talk about. So one of them is from...
Can I talk about school spirit?
You want to talk about... Okay, so let's talk about... Hedruvi, I'm actually going to turn your video off. We just have our panelist videos on. So from Jenna, yes. Since there is no football team, what is school spirit like? Yes, please tell us about school spirit.
Okay, so I love CFC and I love CFC stuff and it's so great. So take everything that you assume about a football team, like all that fun stuff, and translate it to the basketball team. You got CFC. Literally, the basketball games are so much fun. They are always giving out free t-shirts, free pom-poms, free phone thingies, free food. It is so great. Also, since this was our 250 year, we had a bunch of activities like block parties, which we still have block parties without it being 250 year. And we have this thing called Cougar Palooza, which is sort of like Coachella, but at CFC. And it's so fun. We also have a thing called Community Activities Board, which is our CAB board, and they host events throughout the year where like craft nights, or they do bingo nights where you can win free stuff for your dorm, or they have grocery bingo where you can win free groceries. They have comedian nights, relaxation nights, movie nights, everything you can think of. And so those are the biggest ways that we show our spirit here at CFC. Like I said, CFC stays giving out free stuff literally every week. Something else they're going to give out to you. So that's pretty much how we keep our spirit up at CFC.
That was a pretty good answer. Okay, I want to ask this question. How has the Honors College been different from what you originally expected when you walked on campus as a freshman?
Does anyone else want to go? So one way that it's been different for me is just honestly the connections that I formed. I went to a residential high school, which was pretty rigorous, and so we were really focused on academics and everything there, so I didn't really know what to expect coming into college. But it was just honestly great because there's so many group activities, there's such a community, and yes, we are connected to the wider community, but there's so many things in the Honors College to really get you connected to your peers within the college. So that's really cool. And then, of course, I just want to touch back on the advising. That has been the absolute lifesaver. So you get priority registration. So we're going to register, or at least I am, this Monday at 8 a.m. So that's before all the other students besides sports and seniors. And so that's just been so helpful in finding the classes that I really need to take for my major. So of course, we get first pick at those. And then I don't think I would know where I would be if I didn't have my advisor just kind of leading me on the path. She looks at my my schedule before I register for classes to make sure that all the classes are good for are in compliance with my scholarship requirements and within the college requirements and just everything else. So just the community and the help that you gain just from being an honors student is so helpful.
I'd say being an honors to me is, I expected college to be really cool, but it is actually just one of the funnest things I've ever done. Every day at Barry, at least, I was just having the time of my life. Even though you do have a lot of schoolwork and you have to keep up with it and you're learning a lot, just living in Barry, for me, it's just living with all my best friends, and it's like a sleepover all the time. Everything is just really fun to me. I've loved freshman year so much, and it's honestly been even though the schoolwork gets harder in college, you have so much more time. On average, you spend 3 hours a day in class, and then you have you can do whatever you want. You can go eat wherever you want, and you can hang out with your friends all the time. So I would say it's just super fun to be also in the city. The city of Charleston itself is really nice, and it's safe, and there's so many things to do, and there's the beach nearby. So honestly, I thought college was going to be cool, but it's been like kind of like a dream. Super fun.
Dang, I miss being a freshman. But I've still enjoyed my past 4 years. It only gets more fun.
Yay! So I wanted to talk real quick, if no one else wanted to say anything, sorry, about what I just typed to Emma. So you asked about how hard is it to do undergraduate research and publish publish anything. So it hasn't really been hard for me at all. Honestly, there are so many opportunities that open up to, I'm sure I can speak for everyone, for like a bunch of people in the honors college. You just really have to build relationships and get that equity between you and your professor. What I first would say is just find something you're passionate about. Like something I'm really, really passionate about is music and how that affects students with special needs, and just focusing on that. Sorry, my neighbor's dogs are going crazy. That's really unfortunate time for this to be happening. Can y'all hear them? Do I need to stop?
I can hear you.
Sorry.
I know others of you have worked on some undergraduate research. Abby, I'm looking at you because you're a senior, but you don't have to be a senior to have worked on undergraduate research. So does anyone else want to talk about that while we get the dog situation under
I can
control?
briefly talk about that. I am kind of like in that really preliminary stage of doing some research. I took a linear algebra class my freshman year in the fall, and I really liked the professor. I liked what he was doing. And then last semester, I contacted him and asked him some questions to see if I could get on any research with him, or if he knew other people in the math department that would be willing to like do research with undergrads. And at CofC, since it is just undergrads mainly, professors are there to work with undergrads. So they really try and accommodate your interests. So if you have a certain interest, you can find someone at CofC that probably has that interest also, and you can try and do research with them. It doesn't really matter what year you are, as long as you have the proper like classes in like your tool belt to be able to do research. I know a lot of students also do research at MUSC, which is like right down the street from CofC. So if you're interested in more of that medical stuff, you can definitely do research over there.
That's the Medical University of South Carolina, for those of you who are
sorry.
not familiar with South Carolina. No, that's totally fine. So I know Chase just asked a question about study abroad. So does anyone want to talk briefly about study abroad? And then I want to end with asking you to tell us your favorite professor. Several of you, I think, have done study abroad. So do you want to talk about that?
I can. Definitely. So I was required to study abroad with the international studies major, but I would have wanted to study abroad anyway. And essentially, yes, like students get full choice in the process. Students choose whether they want to do an affiliate program or an exchange program. An affiliate, you literally can pick like any program anywhere, but exchange is like a direct CofC exchange, and that is helpful when you have scholarships or something that you have to like keep. And the study abroad office is phenomenal, working with you to try to make sure you're getting the right classes, trying to make sure you get your credits in on time. But I would say that is where you would knock out credits for your major rather than for the honors college. So especially with international studies, it's pretty easy to get credits that match classes here. For something like communication, it's a little bit harder. So you might have to go in a communication department led exchange program. But again, like there are so many resources out there to learn about stuff like that. And it's really not hard to knock out credits. And even if you take a class abroad that isn't directly a credit that you need at CofC, it'll still translate as like 3 credits, and it's still a wonderful experience, and you learn something that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten to learn. And so if you can study abroad, 100%, 110% study abroad. It's been great. And there's a lot of funding opportunities for that as well. So.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's finish up with a quick popcorn round and send some love to our favorite CofC professors. Do you each want to go around and pick one professor? It doesn't have to be your favorite, but just one that is awesome and that you hope to forever be friends with.
Do they have to be honors?
No, it can be anyone.
I would say he's my advisor, and he's also for political science, and I also had him as a professor, Dr. Creed. He's incredible. He cares a lot about his students. He's tough, but you definitely learn something from him. He knows so much about so much, and it's fascinating to sit in a class with him and just listen to him talk.
So I said it in the chat, but one of my favorite professors is Professor Donaldson. I did History 116 with her, which is the modern history, which is a requirement in the college, I believe, with humanities. And so one thing that I did just want to say that's awesome about CofC is it does require those things with humanities, and sometimes that can steer people away because, you don't want to take modern history again, but you can take it in pretty much any way you want. And so there's infinite amount of history 116s, it feels like, but with different aspects. So you can take it. I took it with Songs of Freedom, which was history and through the lens of protest songs. So the person that didn't, most of the people that failed protests, we did that. So we studied music, and then you could also do it just specifically. So it's not just like your basic war history that you get in every class since 5th grade. You get a lot of different aspects through just whatever you're interested in. So yeah.
I think one of my favorite professors is my current stats professor right now, Martin Jones. I think he is phenomenal. He's reminding me why I love math so much. He's so passionate. He's so knowledgeable. He's absolutely amazing. I love him.
So why the dogs aren't barking. My favorite professor right now is Adam Jordan. He is an education major professor. He's specifically in the SPED department. He's pretty much one of the only professors we have right now, just because we're going through some changes with our ed curriculum right now. But he is so great. He actually just gave us all his phone numbers, so we're able to text him, call him whenever we need him to schedule Zoom sessions just through this really hard time. He's also working with me on my bachelor's essay, so it's been really cool to walk with him through that process, especially because it is kind of a stressful process, and it is a little scary, especially with me publishing at the end of it. But he's also given me a lot of internship opportunities. I'm actually going to be interviewing people at a conference this summer, and I'm really, really excited about it. So definitely Dr. Adam Jordan is my favorite professor.
And my favorite professor is probably one of my physics professors right now. Her name's Dr. Oprizan, and she is like a crazy scientist lady. Like, I love her so much because she just gets super, super excited about anything related to physics, and she makes a really tough class really interesting. And like at the end of each class, she'll do like a demonstration where she'll pull out like some crazy machine and show us some physics concept by like shocking herself or like throwing things. I don't know. It's really crazy. But she's also super helpful, and I found a lot of my professors are like this. Like she helped me set up a research opportunity this summer with a professor. Like she went and introduced me to him and said, this is one of my students and he wants to do research. So now I've applied to do research, and I'm still waiting to hear back on the funding and stuff. But like a lot of the teachers here are really willing to like introduce you to new things and new people. So yeah.
And in my last, I don't know. But I have so many, this is such a hard question, but Professor Mike Lee in the communications department has been my favorite since I've had him, and we are now on the level where we hug, where we see each other. I've babysat for his kids. We have done things like extracurricular activities together. Love him. And Professor Ganaway, who's the International Scholars Director, and my advisor for the Honors College. He has been like a dad to me for 4 years. Absolutely love him, have loved learning from him in classes and outside of classes. So look forward to that if you're interested in the ISP program.
Okay, did we get everyone's favorite professor?
And email me if you want to do communication. I know all the communication professors.
Okay, so I am going to, I know there's still a couple questions trickling in, but I think we're getting those answered in the chat box. We are out of time, so I just wanted to thank you all so much for joining us. This was really fun, and I'm going to follow up with an email and just share contact information for all of these current students. So if you had more questions for them individually, you can follow up with them via email to ask those. Thanks again for joining, and we hope that you enjoyed. If you do have other questions, please feel free to send me or Chris an email, as well as any of these students. And we hope to see you soon in another one of our virtual events.
Yay.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yes.
Wash your hands.
Don't touch your face.
Thank y'all.
Bye,
Have a
y'all.
good day.